Hey everyone, it's Deem, Mindset Arc Podcast. Some episode, I think it's 53, and the intro is already good. I I'm not concentrated, but that's gonna be okay because I want this episode to be a lesson to me that I can not be perfect and not re-record every intro for tens of times to try something better. So that's gonna be okay. Sorry if you had to listen to this. Yeah. So let's get to the theme of today's episode. I wanted to talk about the distractions, something that is maybe our distractions, addictions, and how while we are working on them, or if that is something that you don't really want to give up completely, or you just can't for now, or it will be like too hard, take a lot of energy, or like I'm talking, for example, like gaming addiction, porn addiction. I don't know. I don't know what else. Okay, let's talk about these two things then, because that is relevant to me. I'm I wouldn't consider that right now I have both gaming and porn addiction, but I definitely had in before. I definitely had severe gaming addiction while I was in my teenage years, while I was at college. That was that was my escape mechanism, just to not face anything else. Even in my first relationship, I still continued with that, and that affected it as well. After that, I became more relaxed. I about it like I had a period when I didn't play a lot for a long time because I just had no opportunity to do so, and then I was just playing from time to time because I honestly I like video games and they can be really awesome. I don't like video games that are without any purpose, so they need to be really enjoyable and really cool. I don't like this competitive stuff, so it doesn't really matter. It brings me joy, so I still like the games for the plot, for the everything that they give me. I think they give me a lot. And porn addiction, I had some strange porn addiction for a while. I wasn't addicted to videos specifically. I was reading a lot of stories. I had I still has I still have but some so yeah, that's getting really hard to tell. And sorry. Sorry for the pause. I think my laptop is trying to overload itself again, so if video will be stumbling again and not have a good quality, sorry for that. I'm trying to figure out why is it happening, but whatever. Audio should be good. So let's continue. I was talking about porn addiction, mine, and I think it was 2 3 years ago, and I wasn't using porn as like video to jerk off, to just replace my lack of dating and sex at that time. I was using stories. I was really into plots. I was literally reading porn. So some people are into fan fiction, I guess, but I was reading specifically about like I wasn't liking when it was written about some universe, some like cinematic or game universe. I would just like it to be much real. And one of my kinks that was then, that is still is incest porn. and I know that it blew up a couple of years before, but for me it was something even higher, and still is. It's it was like that was the ultimate genre. I didn't even like anything else. Anything else was just like insightful porn. Porn can be used for just learning about a lot of stuff, and I used it like that. But specifically, stories about incest porn were something that really excited me. They really turned me on, and so I was addicted to them. I was addicted a lot, and that messed me up good. Uh, because it wasn't achievable. You know, it wasn't even like I tried to make it look real, but when you're trying to believe something that you will never be able to achieve, that is how actionable it is. It's just devastating, I think. And so, at least at that time, I just didn't know what to do with it, and I was just engrossed, and that ruined a lot of my stuff that brought me to the brink of depression. I think that was one of the reasons, definitely. And it definitely gave me a lot of sexual shame as well, because I was trying to hide it, because oh, that's a kink that I cannot even tell properly to people, right? Now I'm still having it. I'm still having this fear even talking about right now, that I was addicted to incest porn, and still is at some point. It's still the thing that excites me the most. But now I can talk about it, and how I can tell that to people, because even if someone will hate me for it, that's okay. I know that I am okay with that. So, but at that time it gave me a lot of sexual shame, and I was trying to hide everything, and to this day I'm struggling with uh, consequences of that shame, not being talk about just sexual topics as well. So that's that thing. That talk turned into my porn addiction episode. Okay. Well, okay, let's talk about that then. And so, what was the why I decided to talk about this now? So recently, in that pretty low period of time when I feeling pretty low these couple of weeks, I allowed myself to do whatever I could, basically by myself. So I'm still following diet. I'm still going to the gym, though I skipped some of the days, but I'm still going there. So the general structure is still there. I'm still recording these episodes, obviously, and I'm going out. I'm meeting some of the girls I'm seeing, some of the friends here, and I'm working. Like, of course, everything else is going on. But in the self-improvement department, in the just actionable these things that I propel my life forward, that took, I would say, a pause, but at least it's not even a pause. I'm just not focusing on it specifically. If I want to read some book, I am reading it. If I want to record more of these episodes, I will. If I want to, I don't know, like get some inquiries and get into my head, or go out and try to approach girls, or go to the Tinder and find something and get some experience, all of that. I'm still doing that, but it's not the focus right now. And so if I want, I can sit down and play games in my free time. And the last thing I did a couple of days ago was returning to these porn games that I played, and just there was something that really drawn me there. And at some point I'm really afraid of doing that, because that was the severely when I was reading about stuff, it was one thing. It was sometimes it took a lot of time, but it's still reading. You cannot do that for a really long time. At least I couldn't. But then I got into games with the plot that were telling some story, and there is a lot of people who are doing them, and the story is usually complete trash, but because of this incest kink, because of the people just doing something with it, I was engrossed in them, and I could spend. I think at some point when I was at the peak of my addiction, I was literally spending tens of hours each day playing these games one after another, and they were quite long because it's like visual novels where you don't do anything, it's just happening, the story just unrolls before you, and that takes a lot of time to read through that, and that really took a lot of time. But it still has some special place in my heart, so I think it's some weird nostalgia about this time when I couldn't control myself. So I decided to try it again because of the latest improvements, because of everything that I felt that even returning to games, even playing a lot, doesn't control me anymore. I'm still able to do the things that I want to do. I'm still able to push my life towards. It's not regressing me. It's my progress. So because of this trust in myself, I decided to try it again. And I played through one of them, and I felt everything that I was feeling before. So huge excitement, huge just turning on by all of that, because yeah, that is one of the things that's probably never will go away. This kink is one of the biggest kinks of my life. And but you know what I noticed else? I noticed that before, when I was playing that, I was approaching it from a lot of shame. So after I was like, this meme where after you actually jerk off and all, you just closing everything because you cannot look at everything that you were looking before. So it was something like that before. And there was also, so I was at that time before, I was a lot ashamed of what I was doing, and I realized that I was spending like tens of hours. I was just wasting my life at that. It didn't give me anything, but I didn't know better way. I didn't believe that something is possible for me. As if right now, that just returning there and experiencing that, yeah, that gave me a lot of these instant gratification, and you know what porn gives you, like if you're if you were at some point into that, you know how it can go, that it just gives you uh, instant pleasure, and like you don't have to do anything. So yeah, it is like that. But at the same time, now, with the mindset that I know that I can work on everything that I want to achieve, and on so my mind goes blank. So working on, yeah, like after achieving a lot of goals, after making a lot of progress already, uh, like I wanted to get to the gym and start building muscle. I did that. I know how to do that now. I went on a diet and learned to control my weight. I learned how to approach girls and talk to them. I learned how to go to meetups and meet people, meet friends. I learned how to do that. I made a lot of progress. I still have a long way to go, but I made a lot of progress already. And here, with that, it gives you the idea that whatever you see there, what, whatever whatever you can dream about, at least something real that you can dream about, it is possible. You can do some steps and achieve that. And you start looking for solutions, not for problems. That is one of the concepts from Andy. Another podcast when I mention him. Probably not the very good one. But yeah. And going back to the addictions, they're at least these porn and gaming addictions. We're addicted to something that is not real. So video games are, how much realistic they are not real, but they give us some ideas, something that we want to experience, some feelings that we want to have, or some challenges that we want to handle, something like that. And that can be applied, that can be found in real life. So challenges with management or something like management of resources, you can start your own business and do that. Challenges with I don't know, going through some physically challenging stuff. Gym is a perfect representation of that, or you can go on a hike or something like that. It gives you almost the same means, almost the same feelings, the same problems to solve, and you can still like the games, you can still like to play them, but now when I'm playing some games, I usually realize that, oh, I am actually liking this dynamic of the game. I'm like to solve problems. I like to overcome challenges, and sometimes I just like the peaceful atmosphere, and I can get that in my life. I can pursue that in my life as well, and that is a good reminder, and that is a good framing of that. So you're not just losing yourself in that game, you're getting something to your life. It's like it adds to you, it doesn't take anything. And the same thing with porn, and the same thing with me returning to these porn games. No, it's probably not correct to say returning, because I literally played only one day. Maybe I will play a lot, just some other days, couple of more days. But I don't want to spend all of my life on that now, because I know that something similar is possible in my life. So what I am getting from that game, what idea am I getting? Something really exciting, something really new, this intimacy, this connection that they portray always, this extreme desire to each other, these awesome sex scenes, and just good feelings between people there. And that is all achievable in real life. And while playing it, I realized that my motivation of achieving things in real life goes up. It sounds strange, but the very thing, these porn games that previously just kept me down, is just were the form of escaping, the form of trying to get something in my life I didn't think was possible. Now, just by reminding myself on that, and for the context, all the last year I wasn't looking porn at porn and playing like anything. There was absolutely nothing that I used, because I just didn't need that. Now I just wanted to see how it will feel like again. And just from one time, and that was enough. And that gave me a lot of motivation to return back. It reminded me of what I actually want in my life, that I want to get this sexual experience, more of it. I want to learn a lot. I want to have these awesome new things, new people in life, new events that I will experience. And that is the good way to using these things that can be really addictive. I think the addiction comes from, well, yeah, if you're already suffering from addiction in that, then the good way is just to try to cut it away. Not immediately, it's hard to do that, but just gradually reduce, and reduce, use less of it, play less games, use less porn, something like that. But at the same time, if you can, reframe what you're getting from these addictions. Find something that will motivate you to take action in life. Find some feelings from these addictions that you're trying to get for yourself that you are kind of missing in your life, or you want to get them, and find some steps. Find an alternative with what you're trying to get from games, porn, from your addictions in reality. There is some alternative. There is definitely something that will give you a really close feeling. Maybe not exactly like that, but something really close to it. There is always something like that. And go for it. Get some steps going. So find something that will add to your life, how to get that thing that you really want into your life, and start working on it. Start taking some steps. It will take some time, probably. And that is much better way, I think, of handling the addictions. At least it can be a great bonus to it. The most important part is to still reduce the amount if you're still addicted. But after some time, when you already handle the addiction, if you still feel that this thing that you were doing were kind of adding to your life, you were kind of enjoying it, you were kind of enjoying playing games, you were kind of enjoying watching porn from time to time, you can still do that. Just approach it from a different point. Don't try to replace with it something that you're missing in your life. Look at it as something to add to you, something that you can learn from. And that will cause you to not get addicted to it again, or at least greatly reduce the possibility. Or even if you will get addicted to it, you will get a lot of motivation to work towards something, to add in something to your life. And when you actually start getting results in your real life, because in reality it will feel much better when you actually have this feeling in reality and not something that is just half of the world away from you, some picture on a screen or something like that. So yeah, that's I guess what I wanted to talk about. For the context again, with both of these addictions, I don't think I had any other addictions in my life. Yeah, I don't think I had. But with these two, what helped me? Well, I guess these. I talked a lot. I talked some time about me self-harming this period, me self-harming and depression. I guess that can count as an addiction as well, because it was something that I was doing that, well, I guess from that you can still approach it from the perspective of looking what feelings that you wanted to get. So when I was self-harming, I wanted to get some new feelings in my life at one time. Like that was the half of the reason, and second half of the reason was belonging to some group that was doing it. So I could have found, that's how I actually ended that at some point. I found something better in my life that just replaced it. And with all of my addictions, I just found something better, because you cannot remove the addiction. You cannot remove something that is huge part of your life right now, even if it's destructive. You cannot. What you need to find something to fill the void with. So having some actions, some just going take spending the time of like reading books and going to the gym and walking around and doing all of this stuff can help. But if you want to make it enjoyable, you won't look forward to it. The motivation will end and you will go back to your addiction again. So you need to find something that is helpful but is enjoyable as well. That's why I'm telling you to find the feelings, the exact feelings that you're trying to get from something that you're using a lot and you want to get away from, and try to replace them with something positive, something other that can give you the same feelings, and that can help you. That what I did on all of the times, and that's what I recommend, at least from my perspective, at least from my experience. That can be wrong. You'll have to go out there and experiment, but at the end, what I wanted to say is almost everything that we do it is there for a reason. Everything there for a reason. And so don't, as much as you can, try to not feel ashamed of anything that you're doing, because that is really hard state to do anything from. You cannot work with that. You're trying to ignore the problem. You can be even feeling that you're missing something in life, even feeling that you're afraid of going out there and getting the alternative in your life. Maybe being angry at that other people have it but not you. It is much more actionable. But as much as you can, try to not feel ashamed of anything. If you need to justify it, so be it. Just try not to feel ashamed. And yeah, and work with that. Find something that will add to your life and make actions towards it. And I assure you, you can find any feeling that you are getting from any of your addictions just in reality, and you will enjoy it much more. Your life will be much more fuller, much more enjoyable, and you will really be happy while experiencing that. And if you want to from time to time experience some of these things that you did before, like I'm not talking about self-harm, that's probably not a good idea to go back to, or some drug use or something like that. Yeah, just know that you can return to something, you can try it a little bit if it adds to your life. It's not bad. Games aren't bad, porn aren't bad if you're using it properly, if you're not allowing your life to break apart because of it. And yeah, just bear that in mind. But no matter what happens, just try not to feel ashamed about it. Yeah, that's all I wanted to say. I hope that this episode was insightful. I opened a lot about my stuff. If you want to scream at me for something that I said today, you can. And yeah, but I'm hoping that you got something useful from it, something relatable. And yeah, I'm wishing you to go and improve your life and make it the best that you possibly can. See you next time.